Welcome to episode 20 of the fucking ridiculous podcast. I can't even get the goddamn name out. The fucking ridiculous podcast, also known as the FR Pod. So I was sitting here trying to put all my thoughts together, and yet again, I can't, but I've got a lot to share, and next week's Thanksgiving, so lots of anxiety about family, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, number one, shout out to Tanya, who's in my husband's advertising class. He said that you and your friends have a special time when you listen to me, and I am so pumped. I was so excited when I heard that. I just wanted to say thank you so much, and I actually have a treat for you later on in the pod. Okay, number two. I know that nobody likes to hear people brag about their kids and whatnot, but I do want to give a shout out to my boys and their soccer team for school. They won the state cup finals Monday night. It was against a rival school. It was amazing. There were 12 seniors on this team. I mean, that's their last soccer game in their career of their, high school, elementary school, all of that life. And it was amazing and awesome. And yes, I did cry some. And yes, there were a lot of curse words throughout the game. They played awesome. My kid in particular, not a superstar on the team, very good, but super underrated in my opinion. And he's the assister. He's not necessarily the scorer. And he assisted the first goal. And I was just like over the moon excited. I'm so proud of them and just props. I also do want to give a shout out to the other team. They, I think, had like 8 or 10 seniors, and most of them I knew, and I knew their parents. And while I wasn't rooting against them and I was rooting for my boys, I was not rooting for y'all necessarily to be sad and lose. So anyway, I just want to give props to those guys and so proud of you. So along the lines of the state cup finals, I personally don't have any like first place ribbons or anything, except for if like talking or spending money you don't have, I would maybe get first place for that for sure. But back in the day when I met my now husband, we worked together. And so we were sitting at the bar one night, like having dinner after work. It was kind of late, whatever. And so we're chatting and getting to know each other because we worked together. I mean, I thought we were friends, and I think he maybe thought we were on a date, but I didn't get that because I had already been like, nope, I'm not hanging with boy. Like I'm not dating right now. I'm on a break. And so we're chatting and he's like, hey, did I ever tell you that I am an All-American tennis player? And I was like, no. Oh my God, that's awesome. What are you getting? And he goes, wait, what? And I said, well, what are you going to get for dinner? And he goes, wait a minute, can we please back up for a second? That was literally my best material. And you totally just blew past that. He goes, do you even know what an All-American is? And I was like, well, I mean, I've heard of it and I think it sounds really great. So congratulations. That's really awesome. And he's like, fuck. And from that point on, it's a big joke for us. So later when my husband tells me, oh my gosh, congratulations, you're the mom of state cup winners, I was like, thank you so much. And he's like, God, you still don't fucking get it, do you? And I was like, I don't. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that. But it is awesome. It is awesome. And if you're an All-American, that is awesome. It's a big commitment. It's a lot of work. And I don't know anything about it, but I think yay for you. Okay. My boys and I are going to visit 2 colleges tomorrow. And I'm super excited. Just because I get to spend time with them in the car. I'm sure they'll try and like be on their phone the whole time, but they're not going to be, and we'll be singing and I'll just be chatting away and it'll be so much fun for them. I can't wait. Then we are going to a hockey game. Now, my boys have never been to a hockey game before, number one. Number two, they have never been to a hockey game with me, obviously. So this is going to be super fun and awesome for all of us. Actually, that means it's going to be super fun and awesome for me, and it could be humiliating, mortifying, embarrassing for them. Most likely all of the above. But I will put some pictures out because I'm so excited. I will finally see the Stanley Cup champions from this past year play. And there are a few players I really want to see in person, up close. And then my Carolina Hurricanes are doing really, really well. And my favorite person on the team has just been crushing it lately. So I'm super excited. Then we will get up at dark 30 and drive home so that I can get these boys back to school because God forbid they miss any more time. That's their thing, not mine. But then my husband will get in the car and take my daughter to UNC for her daddy-daughter football weekend. And I am so excited. First of all, I'm so excited that they get that time together. Second of all, I'm so excited that I get that time without them. Third of all, there truly are fewer things that are hotter than a dad and a daughter like doing something together, having QT time. It's cuter when they're little and you're like putting like ballet shoes on them or something, but still, they're going to have a ball and I'm going to have a ball. So yeah. So a couple of funny things. I don't know why, like in my piece of paper of stuff to talk about, like literally maybe flew out the window when I was coming here. So I don't know what I was going to talk about, but a friend of mine is a teacher in the public school system. And she was telling me that they have so many different different language speaking students. Perhaps I need help with this as well, that they have now engaged this software or company. And that kind of helps to prompt them to like, okay, do you need Spanish? Do you need Chinese? Do you need Arabic? Do you need English? Obviously, but I was just throwing it in there. But anyway, the company, when I said, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And so when she was telling a story about it, she was like, so then Fellatio comes on and I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And she's like, well, this company, and she tells me about it. I go, the name of the company is Fellatio. And she's like, well, I think it might be with a V, like Fellatio. And I was like, it still sounds like Fellatio. Why in God's name would anyone name their company Fellatio or Fellatio, which sounds just fucking like Fellatio? And for those of you who don't know what Fellatio is, I'm not telling you. You can Google that. Do not TikTok it. Google it. Okay. I just did get a headline from the New York Times because, you know, that's one of my news sources. And the headline is the best Dutch oven. I mean, if I needed the answer to that, I would. I have a family. I already know the answer to that. So that was funny. Crypto. I have gone on record as saying I don't understand crypto. I don't understand NFTs. I think it's all like this imaginary world that like some people are buying into and some people aren't. I am maybe old school in the sense that like if I can't actually tangibly touch it or feel it or smell it or hear it or something, it feels a little suspect. Combine that with the fact that there is no regulator on any crypto right now. So it's kind of like you can say this or do that or whatever. I hate that people lost money in this, but I got to be honest. It feels like a pyramid scheme, and I want this to be fleshed out a little bit more before the rest of us go downhill on that train, because it's only going to hell in a handbasket. Brady and Giselle. Brady has gone back to his first love, football. Apparently he's playing so well, and I'm really excited for him. Giselle also has moved on to allegedly her jujitsu martial arts teacher, which I think is great for her too. You know, I mean, he's definitely not tough on the eyes. So, and then she's learning a skill. So way to go, both of you. So I have been gathering some stories from friends. And I'm going to share 3 fucking ridiculous stories from friends and or family members as my content for today. So the first one is I was walking with a friend, which I love a walk and talk. You know, you multitask by getting some exercise and also catching up with someone in a succinct amount of time, and then you roll. So that's awesome. Love and walk and talk. So I'm walking and talking. And my friend tells me that they had some family come into town, and that the family was like, oh, don't worry, we've got the wine covered. So they bring the wine in, and she's like, oh my God, it's the worst wine. It's not palatable. I can't do it. Maybe I'm a snob, but I can't do it. So she goes, opens that bottle, pours herself, and they brought 3 bottles of it. So pours herself a glass and then promptly goes upstairs with a different bottle from her own shelf or cabinet or whatever, and places it in the master bathroom, opens it and sends a picture and a text to her husband saying, hey, I have this going on up here. If you want in, just come upstairs and go to the bathroom. So that happens. And 3 bottles later, they are now all trashed. So the next morning, the husband looks to the wife and is like, should we take the bathroom wine downstairs? Because there are 3 empty bottles, strewn about. And that's how, though, you get around when someone brings shitty wine. That's what you do. I loved this, and I thought it was fucking ridiculous that they wouldn't actually say, ooh, you know what? I'm not super down with that blend, so I'm going to do this, or just like kind of in front of them do it. But I understand family can be prickly, so don't drink it if you don't want to, though. Just saying. And to be fair, anyone who knows that line, that's like a free pump for the best show ever. Anyway, if you know. If you ever come to my house and I'm going to the bathroom a lot and you've brought some wine, I don't know, maybe you can figure out what's going on. I will say, as I have gotten older, I used to go to like the 10 and below, $10 and below. Then I moved up to like $15 and below. And now sometimes I even have to go above that because I can't take the next day, the tannins or the peptides or the legs. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. All I know is what I like and what I don't like. So if you see me go to the bathroom a lot upstairs, I would definitely go and check that out for yourself. Okay. So a friend of mine, God love her. So she's got a dog. I have a Bernese Mountain Dog, and she has a Swiss Mountain Dog. So they're similar, definitely not the same though. And her dog, my friend's like super teeny. She's like a Tinkerbell kind of a size, like fun size, super cute, but definitely cannot handle like a 100-pound dog on her own. And so she lets the dog out, and the dog then is not coming in when she's calling the dog. So she goes outside and she realizes that the dog has gotten into a fight with a skunk. And the skunk is skunking the dog. And the dog has the skunk in her mouth and is just like running in circles, because I don't know if the dog doesn't understand, like, she's skunking you. So like, you've got to let her out of your mouth or whatever. So it's like this weird game of like, I've played fetch with a skunk, but now I'm getting skunked, but I don't want to let go. So my friend's like, oh my gosh, and she's freaking out. But of course she's fun size, so she can't do anything about it. So she finally like wrangles the dog inside, and the entire house now smells like skunk. So she takes the dog to her shower, which is like a stand-up shower. She's giving the dog a bath. Well, I'm sitting there going, I don't know how you're doing that, because my dog hates water. Like, I have never given my dog a bath. I can't do it. Like, I just know it would be, I would be mauled. And she's a really sweet dog. So 2 weeks later, first of all, she lost the whole day of work because of that. Second of all, she's like, I can't get the smell out of my house. And now we've all kind of moved over into like this one wing of the house because we just can't get past it. We can't shower in that shower anymore. And I keep trying to wash the dog in the shower and it's not coming out. So I go over to her house like 2 weeks later and I'm like, oh my gosh, da, da, da. And they're like, don't touch the dog. And I'm like, why? And they're like, smell your hand. And I was like, no, it's not that. Oh, it is that bad. So then I'm like, dude, why are you not taking the dog to the groomer? She's like, she's so ill behaved. I can't. Like, I don't even know if anyone would take her. I'm so embarrassed by this whole thing. So I guess the moral of this fucking ridiculous story is, don't let your dog out with unattended if you live on a larger piece of land. I guess. I don't know. Or if you do, definitely call animal control so that they can figure that shit out for you. I think that's the best choice, maybe. Anyway, so because we've had like some sickness in our house, and then we had the state cup finals, and we've got like college applications doing stuff, like we've just got a lot going on. So my husband's super distracted, as am I. But he, like I said, he teaches every Tuesday down at UNC. And so yesterday he's like very distracted, very excited, very everything, because it was Tuesday morning. And so he's like, all right, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys Wednesday. He typically spends the night after his class. And so he calls me, and we don't really talk that much during the day. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. He's like, do you want to hear something really fucked up? And I was like, what? And he goes, well, I walked out of the house, got in my car, did all my calls, driving into the parking lot of the hotel, and I realized all I have with me is my computer. I don't have a stitch of clothing. I don't have any toiletries. I don't have any chargers. I don't have anything. I literally just drove into another state, totally going to spend the night, and just forgot to pack a bag and think about it at all. And so I start laughing and I was like, well, you're going to be smelly and stinky for your people. And he's like, well, I guess I'm going to. I was like, don't you dare. If you bring one more UNC item into this house, a dick punch is coming your way. And that is not a joke. Not a joke. And he was like, well, I go to the CVS and get some toothpaste. Okay. So anyway, moral of this story is if you are leaving town, don't forget your bags. Don't forget your underwear or your mouthwash. Don't forget your charger. Come on. You're a grown-ass man or a woman. Since this is episode 20, I thought we would talk about the top three things that I believe you should do in your 20s, or if you have done them, yay. Because these were very important now to me. So top three things you should have done in your 20s or could do in your 20s if you're still in your 20s. Now, if you want a do-over, I say go ahead now. That's fine too. A couple of them might be trickier. Number 3, skydive. I am very, very, very afraid of heights. I don't like that feeling. And my husband wanted to go skydiving for his 30th birthday. I'm much younger, as I've said, so I was in my 20s. And so I was like, well, you go ahead, I'll drive you there. And he was like, no, I want us both to do it. And I was like, ha. So anyway, the whole way down to where we're going, and we lived in California at the time, I don't say a word because I am petrified. I am literally just sitting there talking myself down off the edge. I was like, okay, you know what? I mean, I could die. Oh my God. I can't even get past all of that. So then you get there and you literally you sign your life away. You sign every fucking thing saying, I'm not going to sue you if I die. Then you watch them and kind of help them roll your parachute and stuff and stuff it in this backpack. And then you're going to get attached to an instructor. And so the guys that we're with, we are only with people who are single jumpers, except for me and my husband. And so now we're the only two attached to instructors. Now, the two instructors are adorable. They have these cute South African accents, and they're part of this South African formation team. If you ever saw Point Break, OG, you know what I'm talking about. And so we're attached to them. And so they're at my back. Yeah. So I'm in their front, in a big old baby Bjorn, but I'm a grown up. And so one thing is for sure, they went out last night and I am dying from the alcohol smell. So now I'm already petrified and I'm like, oh my God, this guy's still wasted and he's responsible for my life. And so I'm trying to chat him up on the plane and I was like, so how many jumps have you done? And he's like, I don't know, 2,000 or so. And I was like, and he said it in his cool accent, which made it all much more bearable. Now, the entire time we were in the car and going to the place and then there, I was as silent as can be. I really kind of thought I was going to throw up on myself. And my husband's like, bah, 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 bah. We get into that plane and all of a sudden the roles are reversed. And I'm like, you know what? If this is it, I'm going to enjoy it. So fuck it. And I look over at my husband and he looks green. He is now scared shitless. And I'm like, good. At least I wasn't alone in this at some point in time. Now, I don't know whose instructor was emanating more alcohol, but either way, it was daunting. So everybody jumps out of the plane, and then I wanted to go before my husband, but of course he's a gentleman, so he let me in the plane first. So I'm now the last person going out, which I'm like, oh my God. Well, I guess I could just stay in the plane. Well, the plane looks like it's something very, very old and kind of rickety, and it's so you want to get out of the plane because you actually are scared that the plane might not make it. So you're standing there and the guy says to me, okay, are you ready? On 3. And I was like, yes. Okay, no, wait, are we counting to 3? Or are you saying 3? Is it 1, 2, 3, go? Is it 1, 2? And he goes, 3. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God. And then he says in really loudly, don't put your head back. You'll break my nose. And I was like, oh, so I'm just like frozen. And we do a backflip out of the plane. You actually can see the plane leaving, and it's freezing cold, freezing. So I have my eyes closed, and finally I'm like, open my eyes. Oh my God. It was the most amazing experience I think I've ever had. It's the closest thing to flying that I'll ever do. A full free fall for a minute, which I did beat my brother on that because his was only like 50 seconds. And of course I had to call him at the end of it and tell him. And then our like ride down once the chute opened was like 10 minutes. And it was like the Sierra Mountains are on one side, the Pacific Ocean's on the other side. It was so cool. And he says, see down there, see that parachute? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, that's your husband. And I was like, this was fucking worth it. So that's my very long way of saying, go skydiving. It's worth every bit of the angst and the fear and the whatever. It's awesome. Number 2, explore your sexuality, because that's the time to do it. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Number 1. And this you could do number 2 and number 3 with number 1. Travel by yourself. I traveled Europe for 3 months by myself, and it was truly the most humbling experience. And I had so much fun, and I met the coolest people. And I would definitely say do that in this time when people don't seem to want to do anything by themselves. It was amazing and life-changing, and I definitely came back a better person for it. So those are my 3 things that you should do in your 20s. Not so deep thoughts. If someone is going to give you feedback, i.e. a teacher, a boss, a parent, a significant other, and you're nervous about it, just close your eyes. Just close your eyes and then like listen to what they're saying. And that way you can hold the tears back if your eyelids are closed. You can't see them rolling your eyes at them. I mean, they can't see you rolling your eyes. I think it's a win-win for everybody if you're even the slightest bit nervous. Number 2, if you are a person who doesn't screw lids on, you should maybe think about screwing lids on. And here's why. I can't tell you how many times I have gone to get fill in the blank, ibuprofen, Zyrtec, a vitamin, a melatonin gummy, whatever. And I take it out of the cabinet and it flies everywhere because someone in my household doesn't screw on lids. And when I talk to this person about lids and screwing, he says to me, when you start screwing, I'll start screwing. Which I was like, how long did it take for you to come up with that joke? Because we all know that that's not true. Anyway, screw on the lids. Otherwise, the dog's going to die because it's going to eat all the medicine on the floor. Or you have to change your outfit because fucking Listerine is all over you now. Number 3, I love anklets. I love them. And you can't find them very much now, but I'm going to get one. I love them. Also, heads up, UNC friends. I will be coming down to one of the classes over the next few weeks. So I'm not going to tell you which one, but I'm excited to see you guys. Okay, that's really all I have for right now. I don't know if this was even a funny episode. Sometimes I re-listen. I mean, like, I don't hear them before they actually go out into the public. So sometimes I'm listening to them and I'm like laughing to myself. And I'm like, God, it's so good that I entertain myself because I might not be entertaining anyone else. I don't know. But anyway, thanks for getting me to 20. Next week, we'll be talking about Thanksgiving and all the things I love about Thanksgiving and the giving season. In closing, if you would like to give me a gift, please follow at the FR Pod, like, and rate and review on Spotify or Apple, and share with a friend. That would be so great, especially because we're trying to get momentum here so I can do more fun things. Okay, hopefully Joe will do a really good job of editing this because I have no idea what I just said. Okay, but it'll all be fine. 3, 2, 1.